We speak tonight of whispers, of the delicate language that once flowed so freely between two souls. We speak of hands that once sought and found comfort, warmth, and recognition in the simple act of touching. Remember? That gentle brush against a shoulder, a palm resting softly on a thigh, the quiet assurance of a hand reaching out in the dark. The absence of touch is rarely about the physical act itself. It is about the absence of a certain kind of presence, a presence that is fully embodied, fully aware, fully open. Perhaps we become too busy, too distracted, too consumed by the external world. We forget to tend to our inner garden. We stop listening to the subtle rhythms of our own bodies, the quiet wisdom of our own hearts. And when we lose touch with ourselves, how can we truly expect to remain in touch with another? The hands that reach out are extensions of the soul. If the soul feels distant, so too will the hands. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the subtle, almost imperceptible shifts in our energetic field, the way we hold our breath, the tension in our shoulders, the thoughts that race through our minds, the emotions we suppress. All of these create a subtle barrier, a subtle distance, and this distance, over time, can manifest as a lack of physical closeness. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It's the deep primal urge for union, for the merging of polarities that creates new life, new ideas, new possibilities. It is the recognition of a complementary force, a mirror that reflects a part of ourselves we long to integrate. When we begin to feel shame around this natural, sacred energy, or when we neglect it, we dim a vital part of our own light. The unspoken story in the fading touch is often a narrative of self-abandonment. We withdraw from our own sensual nature, from our own capacity for joy, for pleasure, for deep feeling. We learn to numb, to distract, to intellectualize, rather than to feel and to flow. And when we stop feeling, we stop connecting. The deep longing we feel for touch, for intimacy, for closeness is not a weakness. It is a sacred compass guiding us back to ourselves. It is a reminder that we are beings of energy, designed for connection, for exchange, for the exquisite dance of two souls meeting in the physical realm. The body is not just a vessel. It is a profound instrument of communication, a temple of sensation and spirit. To awaken the touch, we must first awaken ourselves. To invite the hand to reach again, we must first reconnect with the vibrant current that flows within us. We must remember what it feels like to truly inhabit our bodies, to breathe with intention, to feel the subtle pulses of life within and around us. It is a journey inward, a journey of gentle rediscovery, a journey back to the sacred wellspring of our own being. This is the beginning of a conversation, one that resonates in the quiet of the night, in the privacy of your own heart, a conversation about truth, about presence, about the beautiful, complex tapestry of human connection. It asks us to look not for fault, but for flow, not for absence, but for awakening. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. Sometimes we observe a shift, a quiet turning away. Her hand, once so readily offered, so eager to connect, now pauses. It hovers, perhaps, or simply rests, unreaching. And in that subtle space, a question arises, an ache in the heart that seeks understanding. We might believe it is a conscious withdrawal from us, a judgment, a fading of affection. But often, my friend, the truth is far more nuanced, more deeply rooted in the sacred landscape of her own being.
Her hand doesn't reach for you not because she has ceased to feel. No, more profoundly, she has ceased to feel herself. This is a crucial distinction, a delicate secret whispered by the soul. Within the intricate labyrinth of her daily existence, her very own life force, that vibrant current that pulses through every woman, has encountered silent barriers. Have you ever considered the silent battles she wages within, the unseen weights she carries? It could be a weariness that seeps not just into the bones, but into the very spirit. The relentless rhythm of life, the demands, the unspoken expectations, they can erode more than just physical strength. They can exhaust the soul itself, dimming the inner light, making the simple act of reaching out feel like an insurmountable effort. When the wellspring of her own energy is depleted, how can she offer from a place of fullness? Or perhaps it is the quiet burden of unspoken desires, longings that remain unarticulated, either because the words cannot form, or because she fears they will not be heard, or truly understood. A woman holds so much within her, dreams, aspirations, tender vulnerabilities, and when these go unacknowledged, when the space for their expression feels absent, a quiet constriction begins. Her energy, rather than flowing outwards, turns inward, seeking solace in silence, or perhaps simply receding. And then there are the fears, subtle anxieties that, like tendrils, can entwine and restrict the free movement of her spirit. Fear of vulnerability, fear of misunderstanding, fear of not being enough, or of being too much. These fears can create a shield, a protective layer that, while intended to guard, also inadvertently prevents the natural outflow of her warmth, her touch, her very essence. Consider, too, the profound sense that her deep feminine energy is not truly seen, not honored. Perhaps even at times it feels used. This is not about malice or intention. It is about perception, about the subtle energetic exchanges that define intimacy. Her unique way of being, her intuition, her capacity for nurturing, her inherent sensuality. When these profound aspects of her feminine self are overlooked, taken for granted, or perceived merely as a means to an end, a disconnection begins. It is a quiet protest of the soul, a gentle drawing back. She might feel that her generosity, her boundless capacity to give, is being drawn upon without a reciprocal acknowledgement of her own well-being, her own need to be cherished and refilled. When energy is blocked, my friends, we don't lose sex alone. No, we lose vitality. We lose the very current of life itself. This is a truth often overlooked, overshadowed by the more immediate physical manifestations of intimacy. But the sensual energy, the creative force, the healing warmth, it is all interwoven with our fundamental life force. When that current within her meets these internal obstacles, the vibrant flow slows, becomes stagnant. Her body, which should be a temple, a sacred vessel for her spirit, can begin to feel like just an abaluchka, a mere shell. The breath, which is the very rhythm of life, becomes quieter. The inner flame, though never extinguished, might dim, flickering softly in the hidden chambers of her heart. She isn't consciously, deliberately distancing herself from you. No, she is in a profound and often unconscious way, disconnecting from the source of her own strength, her own aliveness.
This withdrawal is a signal, a whisper from her deepest self that something within her is yearning for release, for recognition, for renewal. It is a testament to the intricate dance between our inner world and our outward expressions of love and connection. Her hand, unreaching, unspoken, but to the silence itself, to the subtle shifts in energy, in presence, in the very air between us. For in that listening, in that deep, empathetic witnessing, we begin to understand that the path back to shared intimacy often begins with helping her find her way back to herself. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. And so, we find ourselves at the very heart of the mystery. Why does the touch that once burned with such longing sometimes fade into quietude? Why does the hand that once sought yours now rest still? To truly understand this, we must journey beyond the surface, beyond the simple act of touch or the absence of it, into the deep currents of being. Desire, you see, is not the body calling, it is the soul singing. It is the purest language through which the soul speaks, yearning for connection, for expression, for the profound dance of creation itself. This isn't merely about physical longing, it's about the very pulse of life force, seeking to flow, to intertwine, to manifest something beautiful and true. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. And within that breath, within her very core, lies a sacred energy. This is the wellspring of her intuition, the fertile ground of her creativity, the gentle hand of her healing power. It is a vibrant, living current. And when this inner song, this sacred vibration, feels unheard or unacknowledged, it doesn't just cease, it recedes. It falls silent. She doesn't lose sex when this energy is blocked. She loses vitality. She loses that profound sense of being alive, of being vibrant, of feeling seen and desired, not just for her form, but for the boundless spirit that resides within it. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself, a current, invisible yet palpable, that sustains, nourishes, and transforms. When this life within her is not nourished, when she doesn't feel cherished in the deepest chambers of her being, when her unique song finds no echo in the space around her, then the touches that were once so natural, so effortless, can become impossible. It is not a rejection of you, my friend. It is often a profound, unconscious turning inward. She is not withdrawing from you as much as she is searching for a way to feel her own aliveness again. She is seeking the resonance that will awaken her inner music, hoping to find the rhythm that allows her soul to sing once more. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. And when that remembrance, that deep recognition, extends beyond the fleeting glance or the physical embrace, when it touches the core of who she is, then her energy flows freely. Then, and only then, does she truly reach, not just with her hand, but with her entire being, drawn by an undeniable sacred current. This understanding is not a technique. It is a revelation. It invites us to listen with more than our ears, to see with more than our eyes, to feel the silent symphony of the soul.
For when we truly listen, when we truly see, we can begin to nourish that inner life, allowing the song to rise again, not just within her, but between us. Love. Feel. Breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. We've journeyed together, my friend, through the intricate labyrinth of human connection, exploring the subtle shifts in the energetic currents that flow between us. We've touched upon the quiet ache, the unspoken question that arises when the familiar warmth in her gaze seems to have receded, when her hand no longer instinctively reaches for yours in the soft quiet of a shared evening. There's a longing there, isn't there? A profound, sometimes melancholic query that whispers in the solitude of your heart. What then? How can this vital pulse, this sacred intimacy, be rekindled when it feels as though a delicate flame has begun to wane? The immediate impulse, for many of us, is a call to action, to do more, to pursue, to convince, to try harder, to speak more persuasively, to present arguments for a return to what once was. We believe that effort, that insistence, will bridge the growing chasm. But pause for a moment and consider this truth, whispered through the ages. Such an approach, however fervent or well-intentioned, is akin to attempting to coax a rare, delicate orchid into bloom by force, by pulling impatiently at its petals, by demanding its fragrance and vibrancy. You risk not only its exquisite beauty, but its very life force, its capacity for natural blossoming. The true path back, the sacred path to reclaiming her spontaneous touch, to that profound, unspoken resonance, is not paved with insistence or negotiation.
It is not a strategy of persuasion. It is a journey inward, a deep transformative shift in the very essence of how you perceive and how you exist in her presence. It is a return to a more ancient, more knowing way. It begins, quite simply, with presence. Yet this is not merely the mundane physical act of being in the same room, sharing the same air. No, it is a presence of spirit, a quality of awareness so profound, so encompassing, so deeply rooted that it becomes a sanctuary in itself. It is a stillness within you that mirrors the stillness of a vast open sky. Imagine, for a moment, approaching an ancient forest, a cathedral of trees whispering with untold stories, vibrant with unseen life, pulsing with an energy older than memory. You wouldn't rush through it, cutting paths with urgency or demanding its secrets. Instead, you would step into its profound hush with reverence, with an open, receptive heart, allowing its stillness, its majesty, its quiet power to seep into your own being. This, my friend, is the essence of the presence I speak of. A deep, unwavering attention that holds nothing back, yet demands absolutely nothing in return. It is a quiet yet powerful offering of your entire self, held in a... It's easy to overcomplicate things, isn't it? To search for grand gestures, for words perfectly crafted, for some secret technique to mend what feels broken. We often believe that solutions must be complex because the problem feels so vast, so deeply woven into the fabric of time. But sometimes the deepest truths, the most profound healings, lie in the simplest acts of recognition. She doesn't need a solution from you. She doesn't need you to fix her or to coax her back into a role she no longer recognizes. What she truly needs at the very core of her being is to be seen, truly seen. Not just her outward beauty, not just her sharp mind, not just her spirit when it shines brightest, when it is easy to admire, but all of her, her intricate tapestry of light and shadow, her raw vulnerability, her quiet strength, her unspoken fears, her deepest, most tender longings, to be seen in her entirety as the magnificent, complex woman she is right now, in this moment. And to be felt deeply, not merely touched, but sensed, as if her very essence, the unique frequency of her soul, is resonating within your own being. To feel her breath, her subtle shifts, her unspoken emotions, without judgment, without the urgent need to analyze or change, just to feel, to be utterly present to her presence, to the silent language of her being. And then to be accepted, wholly. This is perhaps the most profound gift we can offer another human soul. Acceptance without condition, acceptance of her journey, her current state, her entire evolving self, without expectation, without the heavy burden of what she should be or what she used to be. This deep seeing, this profound feeling, this unconditional acceptance, it is more than an act of love. It is the fertile soil in which she can truly bloom again, in her own time, in her own way. Think of a flower. It doesn't strain to open. It doesn't force its petals apart against its will. It simply receives. It receives the gentle warmth of the sun, the life-giving moisture of the rain, the rich nourishment from the earth beneath its roots. And when these conditions are met, it unfurls, organically, effortlessly. It reveals its beauty in its own perfect timing, in its own unique expression. So it is with her. Her vitality, her passion, her desire. They are not something to be coaxed out with clever words or physical tricks. They are currents, deep, powerful rivers flowing within her. They are the very essence of her life force, the creative pulse of her being. When she is seen, truly felt, wholly accepted in this way, that sacred current within her begins to stir. It remembers its own path. It begins to flow freely again, unimpeded by the dams of unacknowledged pain or unfulfilled longing that may have held it captive. She remembers herself, her own rhythm, her own unique dance, her own magnetic pull.
She reconnects with that magnificent pulsating current of her own life energy. And when she feels herself in that flow, truly embodied, truly alive, truly free, her hand will reach, naturally. Her soul will lean in, not from obligation, but from a wellspring of inner abundance. Her body will soften, will open, not in response to a demand, but as a spontaneous expression of her renewed self. It is not a choice she makes with her mind, but a profound cellular response, an echo of life affirming itself through her, within her. Our task then is not to make her do anything, not to demand, not to manipulate, not to strategize. It is to create a space, a sacred, unwavering space, where she feels safe enough to be utterly, magnificently herself, where the air is clean with honesty, the light is gentle with understanding, and the soil is rich with your respectful, patient presence. Imagine the gardener once more. He doesn't pull on the buds to make them open faster, knowing it would only tear them.
He doesn't command the sun to shine or the rain to fall. He tends the garden. He nurtures the conditions. He removes the weeds. He ensures the environment is conducive to growth. He trusts the seed. He trusts the inherent wisdom of life itself. He knows that growth, true flourishing, comes from within. This is the great mystery. The universe, in its boundless intelligence and endless creativity, flows through each of us. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, not just desire, but life itself, a shared current, deeper than words, more ancient than time. When you trust this current within her, when you honor its sacred nature, you invite her to trust it within herself too. You don't need to understand every ripple, every eddy, every hidden depth. Just honor the river, respect its journey. What happens when we truly allow someone to simply be? When we remove the heavy layers of our own expectations, the projections of our own needs, the burdens of our own past? She begins to shed what is not hers. She lets go of the armor, the masks, the roles she may have played. She remembers her own true nature. She returns to herself, to the vibrant, authentic core of her being. This journey back to self is profoundly healing for her as she reclaims her power and her joy, and unexpectedly for you as you witness this beautiful unfolding and reconnect with your own capacity for unconditional presence. Because when she is truly herself, fully embodied, deeply connected to her own wellspring of energy, that connection radiates outward like warmth from a fire. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks, and her soul, awakened, vibrant, now speaking its authentic truth, will speak to yours in a way it hasn't in years. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself, recognizing its own divine spark in another. And in that remembrance, that deep, resonant recognition, where souls acknowledge each other beyond the superficial, she finds her way back. Not to you as a destination, as if she were lost and you were her compass, but with you as a fellow traveler, walking side by side on the sacred path of life. A man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder. Look with wonder now. See her anew, not as a familiar landscape, but as an ever-unfolding mystery. See the life force within her, vibrant and eternal. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. And when she breathes freely, when she feels deeply, when she accepts her own magnificent flow of energy, the distance between you dissolves, not by force, not by effort, but by grace, because she is home, within herself, and that home, now radiant and open, extends to you, inviting you into its warmth and intimacy once more. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken.